All right. Oh, so against my better judgment. Good evening, Gotham. Good evening, Metropolis. Emerald City, Xanadu, Babylon to the ISS, and the rest of you. Good evening. That's starting to look really good. It's 1 a.m. Eastern Time. It is 9 a.m. in Moscow. It's 3 p.m. in Tokyo, 10 p.m. in Los Angeles, California. Now, you can't get Greeley West Side Liquor to deliver to you in LA, obviously, but Greeley in Northern Colorado, well, call Greeley Westside Liquor. Find them on social. You all know how to do this. You're all doing this now. You are scrolling the distance of the Empire State Building every day. Boy, are you informed. You are watching the number one podcast nobody knows about, and even fewer people watch anyway. So, welcome. I'd ask you to like it or share it, but you don't have the attention span to do that. To direct your attention to Patreon, I don't know how this works. And oh, there's social media. Hey, without context, I'll post a picture and then, I'm not okay. But I did promise this is a project for the doctors and my nephew and, for the forensics and the crime lab. So, all right. Headlines for 4/2/2022. We're 38 days now, 39 days into the crisis. The Oscar producer, by the way, has perjured himself on national television, giving the exclusive interview regarding how the Academy handled the alleged assault of Will Smith to Chris Rock. You are a lying piece of scum. But because of the color of your skin, we can't point that out. Your double speak and your lies on national television trying to damage control and put you into some kind of crisis management position. You're a pathetic waste of skin. Will Smith, of course, has resigned now from the National Academy of Arts and Sciences. I bring up the question now they keep pushing science in the media regarding the Academy Awards. Is that the science we've been following the last 2 years? Ukraine continues to fight. As the media now calls it, Ukrainians are striking back. Oh my God, I hope they're not being too aggressive with the Russian troops. Ukraine has taken the war to Russia. Well, that only took 37 days. You're supposed to be a doormat while the Russian troops come moving through as international members of the community come together to vote and condone the atrocities, calling for war crimes and help the children. Cards. A daring raid by the Ukrainians attacking a Russian doesn't matter, an attack on Russian soil. Oh my God, could this escalate? No, I'm fine, really. Well, we're going to get to it. It's a daring raid. Allegations now of Russian troops looting, robbing Ukrainians of their money and their jewelry. 2 columns of Russian troops have evacuated Chernobyl after spending time in the Red Forest. You mean the highly contaminated air? Yeah, and they were digging in the soil. Possible fears that they've all been contaminated with high levels and are now suffering acute radiation sickness. God, I hope it doesn't spread and mutate into a bioweapon. Chernobyl. You know, the employees at Chernobyl were held at gunpoint for 4 weeks. Are they alive? Yeah. Well, hey, isn't that better than the troops out at Snake Island or Skull Island? Or oh, they are alive. Okay, sorry. By the way, none of this is confirmed, They run the story and then we are not able to confirm any of this. Then did you just run 90 seconds? Why did you waste 90 seconds of otherwise dead air, come up with these headlines, and then claim we are unable to confirm any of this? Thank you, Lester Holt. You are a worthless oxygen thief. You are a waste of skin. I don't care what color it is. Let's check in with the Ukrainian refugees in Poland. Yeah, it's about 3 million of them. 4.5 to now 5 million, pushing 6 million refugees have fled Ukraine, with 10 million displaced. That's 16. I said when this Bugata started, oh, I'll get to Bugata. You just can stand down. Then I said, well, they're estimating half a million refugees. No, if there is any activity, 500,000 is 1 or 2 million. And if there's activity, it's 2 to 10 million. Ukraine, argumentatively, is 40 million. You'll have 20 million dead. You'll have 20 million who flee. No, you'll have 20 million who flee. And out of the other 20, you could see 10 million dead. Because you don't understand how the Soviets think. I'm just outraged. I'm going to boycott. Good for you. Back to the Ukrainians in Poland. And the talk of refugees. And they're worried about a roof over their heads, and food for their children, and health care. Are you serious? Health care. Oh, it gets better. Stand by for some movement from the Obama administration to pander to the tens of millions of new voters that are about to be welcomed into the system, because registered voters aren't engaged during the midterms, and the Democrats realize they're about to get stomped like narcs at a biker rally. So we're going to need new voters. A record jobs report. 400,000 jobs were created in the month of March, now bringing the nation's unemployment tied to a 50-year low that was set 2 years ago. Oh, you mean the evil orange man? Those numbers? Yeah, we're now pre-pandemic numbers again, and they can't have that. The airline industry, of course, seeing a 4% uptick, not in revenue, in ticket sales from 2019, which means more Americans are now flying than before the pandemic ever started. And in the meantime, now the unemployment rate is allegedly the lowest in 50 years, timed with the 3.6% number tied with just 2 years ago. So it's not a record. You tied the record, but you want to give yourself a medal and pat yourself on the muffin because it's another first for the Biden administration. Inflation is soaring, and now fear of a recession, as it is obvious that the Federal Reserve, now that it's April, will be raising the interest rates again, most likely in the 3rd or 4th week of April. I hope you have a happy Easter. I wonder how much the Easter ham is going to cost this year. I wonder how we can blame Donald Trump for that. Meanwhile, in New York, the unions. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. Oh, we're getting there. The unions have announced victory. Victory. The unions are now going to be at Amazon. That's right. Another first for New York. Record crime, record rape, record robbery, record overdoses, record philandering. And that's just in the governor's office, allegedly. The first Amazon union in New York, the ALU, and its founding member, saying, "Today we made history," not in that dialect, not to offend anyone who may or may not be on the spectrum. Tards. Today we've made history. Yeah. Bad, bad, bad. We'll wait and see. Let's play this out 18 months. Hey, remember when AOC opened her little And talking, oh, and we'll just take that little account and go elsewhere. Hey, remember all the promises and the back patting in Denver, Colorado by Mayor Governor Pole Smoker, excuse me, Governor Polis? You didn't really just say Governor Pole Smoker, did you? We don't know. I mean, get pitching and catching, and I don't know. I'm not on the team. I mean, I have the equipment, but I don't know. March of 2022 has seen a record number of tornadoes across the United States, 253 confirmed tornadoes. You mean waterspouts, funnel clouds, EF1s, and anything without no damage? And a record number of buildings destroyed. You mean because everything larger than an outhouse now has to have a permit? So outbuildings falling over, that counts as record destruction. Well, thank God we're going to give FEMA more money. Democrats now again intending to pander to the uninterested midterm voters by now pushing for federal pot legislation to decriminalize. No, see, if you decriminalize it, then we're not doing anything. Go home. Oh, no, we're going to need to tax. We're going to add regulations to make it safe for the child. Then that's not decriminalizing it. Way to go on your synonymization and homogenization of words and pandering to the dope smokers who'd never vote for you. But yeah, man, Biden got his legal dope. I'm going to vote for him. That's why I said the smartest thing Trump could have ever done was to just get it done and just change the scheduling. Nope. They're manipulating the system. Just like, again, we're going to get rid of daylight saving. Fine. I don't give up what time you set your clock to. The minute you start writing legislation, we're going to need a committee, and we're going to need a room, and we're going to need a logo, and we're going to need funding to turn the clocks, to just stop turning the clocks. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Page 2. Although there is bipartisan support in Congress to change the marijuana laws, many Republicans still claim that marijuana is a gateway drug. Come here, baby. Come to daddy. Ah, yes. Oh, nice cold Coca-Cola. Take the edge off. Get that bitter taste of the adrenaline out of your mouth. Worst gateway drug that ever existed. You know, when I was growing up in school, military Catholic school, they didn't keep girls in our school. The girls went to the convent. Swear to God. By the way, the convent of the Visitation, and then there you had Durham Hall, which was the other all-girls school. So we called the girls at the convent of the Visitation, they were the Kennel Club. And the girls at Durham were the Durham Dollies. I report, you judge. It tasted good. New Mexico, as of April 1st, not an April Fool's gag, is now legalized marijuana. And I love how the media did this one. Record sales in marijuana in New Mexico. How do you have record sales the first day? Anything over than selling one bag of weed over the counter was a record, another first for the moment of history that everyone can be proud of. Oh my God. New Mexico now legalizing marijuana. First day of record sales and lines wrapped around the block. Lester, you, Stacy, what's her name? Stahl, Leslie Stahl, Don Lemon, Chris Cuomo. Do we have any Russian troops available right now on back order? They could escort them out. I know the allegations of the Russian troops. You don't understand the Soviet mentality. What part of war and rape, rob, and pillage do you not understand? It's supposed to be civilized. This is an unjust war. This is an immoral war. This is an illegal war. What then war is? God, your rhetoric is just beyond help. You are that brainwashed. It's an illegal war. I hope the international court will issue a warrant for Vladimir Putin's arrest. Okay, great. Who's going to execute the warrant? Do you understand? Well, the United Nations. Really? Do you understand the United States as the United Nations Police Department? We have been since the creation of the Bugada. What makes you think the U.S. is going to do jack squat? We have 39 days of their. Again, it's one thing for them to say one thing and do another. Oh, we're going to get to those. Maybe we should leave Vladimir Putin a voicemail and see what happens. We're on page 3. I got 11 pages of crap. I didn't want to come on and do this. Nobody's holding a gun to your head. Sure, and feels like it. The record sales in marijuana in Mexico and New Mexico for marijuana. Record sales. I hope you got that on your blog. I should ask, am I getting comments? I hope not. Scary, okay? No. Title 42. See, in that first 10 days of this Bugada, again, the Bugada is becoming more accurate of what's going on. You may want to scroll back and look at my episodes. I made it very clear how did all of these Ukrainian refugees arrive at the Mexican border in the United States, in Canada, excuse me, in Canada? No, the Mexico, California, and the Mexico, Arizona borders. What the just happened? How were you able to get all of these people out of that airspace and over here? Oh, we're not given that answer yet. We're not entitled to know that answer. You need to be programmed about Title 42 and the importance that it was the bad man, Donald Trump, that invoked that executive order, even though Biden has allowed that executive order to continue because of the need for an abundance of caution. Remember, that, again, closing the border is xenophobic. Title 42. The COVID-19 asylum. Those who've been sitting at the border for over 2 years now, who are held victims and hostages in the system because their paperwork can't be processed. Well, thank God the White House announced the new passports will allow for gender X. You don't think these headlines have anything to do with each other, do you? It's just another victory in the White House. We're going to have X's now on the passports. You mean so international inspectors can just recognize and laugh at a human right there? We just want to be recognized. Both. The refugees who are being treated less than human and don't have a roof over their heads and don't have food in their stomachs and don't know where they're going to get health care. Well, that should be ending soon. We can expect to see in the upcoming months possibly tens of millions of refugees coming in through the Mexican border. We are waiting to see how the White House will respond. Um, in breaking news, again, the devices that bring us so close together because we just scroll the distance of the Empire State Building every damn day, and you are getting dumber and dumber and dumber. You realize you're on a phone that you could return calls with? No, I'm too busy. I've got a hamster that's in the veterinarian right now. They're going to get neutered, and I don't want to leave it alone tonight. And ooh, picture like ooh like that. Ooh, poke poke. What is a poke? Come here, I'll fucking poke you. We now have a massive uptick in teen mental health. Oh, good. We're going to have to change the medical diagnoses so we can take all of these badly damaged, mentally ill teenagers who just won't go along with the program. Thank God we have pharmaceuticals that'll be able to help manage them. 44 to here's some Illuminati numbers for you. Thank you, Lester Holt and KDVR Denver, for running this critically important story. I sure hope as we can get the the problem solvers on this. I hope we get legislation soon. A massive uptick in teen mental health crises, with 44 to 66% of children reporting they're in crisis. Good. Go outside, go in the yard, get some UV, sit down and play with a stick in the mud for an hour. I can't. I don't have the attention span for three. I need to see what's going on my Instagram and TikTok. By the way, experts on the news over the weekend regarding your children's mental health. When your child says, I'm okay, they're not. Don't believe them. Holy, they aren't telling you the truth. We need to tell them how to work through their feelings and how to feel. Quote, if kids say they are okay, unquote, dash, they aren't telling you the truth, exclamation mark, hashtag dash, tell them how to feel. Can we tell them to pull the stick out of there? The national gas average is now $4.21. Colorado national gas average is $3.98. Um, Pete Buttigieg and the Secretary of Transportation, um, Mr. Buttplug, decided to come out in the news and announce that we're going to change the nation's CAFR standards. So, by 2020, we're just going to pull some numbers out of there because the cars need to get 40 miles to the gallon by then. Let me know how that works there, Pito. I don't know. Allegedly, I don't know. Concerns now that the White House has announced, we're not going to keep doing the free testing and the free shots. How much that might cost the consumer. Allegations allegedly that, well, tests are going to cost you money. In some cases, they could cost as much as $200. That's just for the test. We don't know about the shot and the boosters. There may be calls then for more health care reform. President Obama's health care was to give 100% coverage to all Americans. Reports of 10 to 25% of Americans aren't insured. Maybe we start forcing them to get insurance. Again, just in time for level two, the President Biden administration has announced they are going to add the X as your gender qualification on your U.S. passport. Where is mine? Top shelf behind me. President Biden, when it came to Freudian slip, National whatever Awareness Day the other day, because I don't know which letters of the alphabet are included and excluded anymore, talking about how we need to educate and how President Biden is committed to the trans community everywhere, in our schools, in our military, everywhere. Well, what is the demographic breakdown of actually how many people are in transition? Not claiming to be, thinking about it, wanting to be. How many people are in transition? Okay, why are we changing the entire verbiage in the entire system for a absolutely clear minority? You're now talking badly about minorities. No, I'm talking about your lie and the camel toe under the tent of we just want to be accepted. No, you want to shove your agenda down somebody's throat who wants nothing to do with it. And that's beyond perverted and disgusting. Your slip is showing, your agenda has come out, you're an emperor with no clothes, you're 400 pounds, I'm fat shaming you, and I'm pointing out you have a small penis, unless you're Michelle Obama. Opposition regarding the gay, just don't say gay, just please say gay bill regarding Florida. Um, we're not wanting to indoctrinate your children. We just want to talk to first, second, and third graders about sex and not let your parents know about it. I don't know what the problem there is. The media is now concerned about President Biden's second year in the White House, and they're worried about his what's called a sophomore slump. The sophomore slump, right there. Yeah. Is that like the Monster Mash? The sophomore slump, which again, President Biden is desperately trying to get ahead of regarding the economy and recession, that was just transitory last year. Well, of course, now it's Putin's fault. And the Biden administration is continuing to push for electric cars because it could, once you get an electric car, you could be saving $80 a month. We are day 38, day 39. By Monday, it will be day 39, day 40. We do not have a deal with Venezuela for oil. We do not have a deal with Saudi Arabia for oil. And we are still negotiating the Iranian deal, so we don't have oil from them. Well done, Mr. President. Well done. We have another round of peace talks that has been announced this afternoon, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 4/2/2022. 2022, excuse me, and encouraged about another round of peace talks. Why? We got ashtrays with the logos in them now? Cool. The continued focus on green cars. Green cars, by the way, and the auto manufacturers, because we're going to again push for higher CAFR standards, and all the cars that are manufactured in the United States are going to have to get 40 miles to the gallon. Okay. By the way, the electric car versions, the government subsidizes them. They slap you in the face and then pee on your cheek. Um, where's all the subsidies for the buyers of these vehicles? Oh, wait a minute, you can't get any because in the first 21 days of the conflict, almost every electric car in the United States was bought off the lot. Now they're on back order. Well, thank God we can blame Vladimir Putin for the supply chain issues because it may take a couple of years to get your car. But once you do, you could be saving $80 a month in gas. The semiconductor shortage still exists and has now for over 2.5 years. So, these cars, how are you going to do this? Going to explain? Can't manufacture the superconductors here in the United States. That's not true, Scooter. We do. We have a vibrant manufacturing infrastructure. Great. Do you know the percentage of chips that we are producing here in the United States? I'm not sure. Is that the America only produces 2% of the supply, or is that 20%? I don't know. I can't read my writing. I'm getting so angry at this point. 1 in 5 Americans now find themselves short before payday because of Vladimir Putin. It's his fault. 20% of Americans are now unable to even live paycheck to paycheck. That's up 10%. That number has doubled in 1 year. And last year, how many refunds, bonuses, and COVID relief checks were you getting? 1 in 5 Americans are now short before payday. That is 20% of the workforce. It's the economy, stupid. It's about green cars. It's about our agenda. We're about to get our asses handed back to us at the midterms, and we have to move forward. If we don't pass this legislation now, we may never get a chance again. They're telling you how desperate they are. All right. Are we done? God damn, we are close. Um, how are we supposed to remember the headlines of the current when you don't remember the headlines of the past? I attempted to script it the way it was done before. I can't because it was not done on a teleprompter. It was. Well, yeah, I'm sorry. It was on a teleprompter because it came on the scroll. Here's one page only. On this day in Illuminati history for 4/2/2022. Some of these headlines may understand now why Scooter's pissed. Scooter suffers anniversary syndrome. Very bad. Does not need to look at a computer to know certain dates in history and where he was, who he was with, what he was drinking, and what color shoes he was wearing. And everybody back then, because the hair matches, how do you always talk about your shoes? Because I drank so much back then, I would throw up and at least remember what I was throwing up on were my shoes. We're into this TikTok projectile. How far can you throw your vomit? All these problems in Florida. They could have, if we could send a Terminator back in time, we wouldn't be giving Ponce de Leon a hug. We'd be shooting him before he got off the boat because it is today 1513 Ponce de Leon discovers that's de Leon. It's Kiev. Yeah. Ponce de Leon discovers Florida. Well, no, I mean, they pulled up, got off the boat, and put their feet on the ground. We're going to need a flag. Fast forwarding, it is on this day, 1681, King Charles II has officially now proclaimed the charter that he granted in March to William Penn. That, of course, for what will be the new Quaker colony in Pennsylvania. It took a little while to put the message on the boat to get it over. It is on this day, 1865, Confederate forces now evacuate Richmond, Virginia. Ooh, this could be breaking news. We should follow this story. This now in the face of the advancing Union Army. It is on this day, 1914. Obi-Wan Ben Kenobi-Wan, otherwise known as Sir Alec. No, no, no. It's Alec Guinness, cute little baby, cute little nasty guy, pops out of his mother's womb. Happy birthday, Obi-Wan Kenobi. 3 years later, 1917, Woodrow Wilson now is asking Congress. See, he's not demanding. Demand, I'm Woodrow Wilson. I demand. No, Woodrow Wilson has asked Congress for a declaration of war against Germany. We'll see how that goes. It is fast forwarding 1968, references this past week. Why? Because the energies in the universe and the universal energy of consciousness. Hey, it is on, and the world is so focused on the National Academy of Arts and Sciences. It is on this day, my poor nephew is going to think his uncle has snapped a cap. It is on this day in 1968, the world premiere of Stanley Kubrick's masterpiece, 2001: A Space Odyssey, is released. Why was the world premiere in Washington, D.C.? Not Hollywood, not the Palladium in London, not at Piccadilly Circus, not at Tiananmen Square, Sydney, Australia. Why was Stanley Kubrick's movie premiered at D.C.? Doesn't give any credit or conspiracy theory that Stanley Kubrick was helping the United States in any way when it came to the space program that Werner von Braun said wouldn't work. Fast forward 10 years. Now I know where I am. I can sell. Good God. They're in the den. It's 1978 now, and the television 5-part miniseries, Dallas, regarding oil and finance, conspiracy, and incest. Well, incestuous relationships, let's just call them that. The 5-part miniseries Dallas premiered on this day, April 2nd, 1978. 1982, Argentinian military forces have seized control of the Falkland Islands. That was close. I said ship, Damon. Ponce de Leon got off one in 1513. 10 years later, it is on this day, 1992, April 2nd. The Teflon Don, John Gotti, is convicted on Jesus. I wrote this. I told 3 other people, major goosebumps. It is on this day, April 2nd, 1992. John Gotti is found guilty on not all 13. I loved how the media said that, because that was not the number of counts. So he was not convicted on all counts. He was convicted on 13 counts, including the alleged murder of then alleged Don Paul Castellano. It was a long day. And what became 2 weeks of fucking hell. John Gotti, of course, was immediately taken into custody, where he later died in prison. And thank God Joe Biden brought up the universal energy of consciousness last week in Poland, digging up every other hero of freedom and democracy. It is on this day, 4/2/20. 05, after they kept propping him up after giving him a hot shower and putting him in front of a cold window to address St. Peter's Square, Pope John Paul II is finally room temperature. And it's funny because I am still at Alice 1059. And the gag of we want to put the chimney for the smoke, we want to steal it, and we want to put it on eBay. The world now focuses attention. By the way, Pope John Paul II, more numerology. He was the first pope in 455 years that wasn't Italian because we were already pandering to the politics. He was Polish. Yeah. And the next one's a Nazi, Cardinal Ratzinger. Well, we had a Nazi running the UN. Why not have an ex-Nazi? And an ex-Nazi ran the NASA program, and allegedly an ex-Nazi, Kurt Waldheim, he was in charge of the UN. Why can't we have an ex-Nazi? We're trying to bring the community together. Cardinal Ratzinger. I did the news. I did on this day. I'm going to go check my phone to see if I've gotten any voicemails to my return calls. And I don't think I should show this because you can screenshot it and see the jokes. As I just brought up, okay, certain dates, and I remember what studios I'm in. You know what? It had me thinking. I'll just leave it at this. In the year 2000, hey, you got a minute? Yeah, what's going on? Okay, boom, 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 boom. Oh, cool. All right, I'll get back to you. Gotta go. Bye. Click. Phone call. Same phone call. This is where it comes from. Hey, am I calling you at a bad time? No, I'm good. I start that usually with everyone who knows me. I normally do that. And then there's bust my balls. Scooter, we always know what you're going to say when you call. I'm trying to be respectful. See, these devices were designed for the user's convenience, not yours. Am I calling it a bad time? No, Scooter, we're good. All right. XYZ. And they go 1, 2, 3. Okay, love you. Gotta go. Bye. Click. I noticed it after 2001. I noticed it immediately after 9/11. In the year 2000, am I calling it a bad time? Actually, my kids got strep. They're home today. I can't talk. I gotta go. Okay, talk to me later? Yeah, I'll call you later. I'll call you tomorrow. Okay, bye. Click. See, I'm not allowed pets, plants, or kids. So I have to respect. Oh, the kid's at home. You've been using that excuse for 20 years. The kid's grown up by now. I think didn't they move out of the house? Wait a minute. Didn't they move to the other side of the country? What do you think? I'm stupid? 9/11 happens. Am I calling it a bad time? I just can't talk right now. What? It turns out my dad's boss died in the towers, and I'm just, your dad's boss died in the Twin Towers, and you can't talk. I'm going to put the phone down, and I'm going to leave the building, and I'm going to go across the street to Garcia's. It's only 8:30 in the morning, but I need to start drinking heavily right now. You can't perform. You're a performer. I understand if your dad died in the Twin Towers, not that your dad's boss did. Did you ever meet your dad's boss? Dad's very upset. And what the does that have to do with you doing your God job? I just can't talk right now. You're over 21, you have testicles, and you have testosterone in your system, and you're acting like a Sally. I'm just not going to take this abuse from you. I can't talk to you anymore. Good. Bye. Can't miss you till you're gone. Click. All right. So that's what the last 3 pages are. I'm waiting to hear back from my voicemails from January, February and March. More potentially bad news. The threat of violence does work because all I threatened was a glitter bomb in a radio station, and I got people to return my calls. Isn't glitter outlawed? Glitter should be banned. You just threatened to kill some. No, glitter bombs do a lot more than kill. They leave their mark long after you're gone. And on a last note, I brought up the Italians and the Bugatti, and you're going to have to catch what I throw. And if you do, great. And if you don't, I'm sorry. Um, Choose your words very carefully. See, on my planet, there was a reference to me outside another project in that you behave this way. Yeah, because that's where I'm from. And that was my role. I wanted nothing to do with it, and I pulled out of it. That was my choice. I had to make those choices for my sanity and for my safety. I just wanted to be safe. No, I wanted to be insane. 1992. I know who I'm dating. I know what I'm driving. I know where I work. I know what I do. And that was a very interesting day. And then 2 weeks of nonsense in the restructure. It was no different than when Don Imus said nappy headed hoe in March of 2007, and it changed broadcasting. The conviction of John Gotti set into series of dominoes. And in one retrospect look now, taking a look back, there was a very brutal war, a very bloody war in the streets, where all of, well, you could say four of the five families because of the removal and reinsertion of the Bonanos. But the true reality, you wonder why we can call you Quack Quack. How did you get a bug in your house? I had the guy come sweep it. You let the guy in who planted the bug. Do you not understand these microphones hear rats fart in Egypt? The government never sleeps. It is a machine. They are going to go after you every. You're making this thing public, and this thing is not public. You can be a good earner. You can't talk about this. You put too much in jeopardy. You put too much in play. This thing is too big. Yeah, because it involves government organizations and the military organizations. It involves international powers. And you running around half cocked with a loaded gun and a bag of dope on you in Brooklyn right now is fucking stupid. And the drug money. Deal and die. It's been the law since Appalachia or Appalachia, however you want it. Bull. It's easy to look back. Don Carlo took drug money. Meyer Lansky took drug money. Benjamin Siegel was in on the drug money. Drugs are the most lucrative of the. But what is recession proof? Hollywood and this thing of ours. 1992. From the time of the arrest, there were interesting phone calls. I was always the night guy. But on my planet, they're all day walkers. By the way, the phone doesn't ring from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. You don't call and interrupt people at home during dinner. And you sure don't call after 10 o'clock. Somebody better be on in fire for you to be calling this late. Who can died? So when the phone would ring in a house where everybody is hypersensitive anyway, someone was asked about why I think the way and why I behave the way, and I said because on my planet This conversation doesn't take place. You come into a room, you're not offered lunch, you're not offered dinner, you're not offered a chair. And the only reason there is plastic down on the ground is because I just cleaned the carpets last week. Two to the back of the head, goodbye, you're done. You just needed to know why. Goodbye. And then we deal with you either very publicly or very quietly as to how we want the rest of the crack staff around you to behave. Fear and violence. And I believed that there was always another way to do that. And it was because of the way I grew up and saw it. On my planet, in factions of my family, those phone calls, whether they were 3 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's typically the 3 a.m. calls where you need to ask a favor. People did them out of fear of reprisal if they didn't. And when I came to Colorado, specifically after leaving Arizona, I made a very, very deliberate decision that my friends would do favors for me because they wanted to, not for fear that I was going to give them a signed Major League Baseball bat and that they could keep it once they had it surgically removed sideways from where I put it up their body. Violence is a very easy way to keep people managed for a time, and then it doesn't work anymore. But if you're able to, through goodwill and gestures, create that network of, I know when I call so and so, it's going to get handled. And nobody's going to wind up in a body bag, and there won't be any reprisals. That's the dilemma I am now struggling with after 54 years. Were the decisions that I made in my youth right? This project started 39 days ago, 38 days ago, February 24th, because of the anniversary syndrome of where I was in 1991 for Gulf War I. And I told those stories in the first 3 nights. So if you want to know, you can go back and listen. Now, I wasted too much time. We did 30 minutes of news, and I wasted 15 minutes of your night. I'm sorry there's no refunds, but if you're on Patreon and want to stop your subscription, I'll understand. I promised that I was going to do this through the duration. The problem is this war is going to go on no less than a decade. 40 days now equates to 4 years. Again, as I mentioned in those first week's worth of episodes, in the war computer and the war calculations, for every minute of every hour of every day extends the end time. So as we come into 40 days and 40 nights, we are looking at no less now than 4 years of economic recovery once the war ends. The problem is you double that number of 2 years is a 4-year war. They can't figure out where and who and how to defend those who may or may not be at the peace talks. And Vladimir Putin is a madman. We're done. Good night. Be well. Be safe. Follow me, like me, hate me, call me names, do whatever you got to do. Be well, be safe, and be very leery of the headlines. Thank you for participating in a beta test that was allegedly the #1 podcast that no one ever knew about and even fewer people ever watched. Find me at scootermcgee.com. Goodbye.